Hello, everyone. Welcome to the summer edition of English C1001. There are a few C1001 classes here at Mesa this summer. As you may or may not know, they all fit the course description you'll see on the online schedule, which is also, of course, in the college catalog. But individual instructors may choose texts and compose assignments that reflect and directly key into the catalog description, but in an individual way. So in some ways, all the C1001 classes are the same. In some ways, each one's unique. More on that in my next screencast that you will want to see by Thursday, but this is the Tuesday screencast. And I'm going to give you a little introduction to the course. Let me bop over here to the calendar page. And this is a good place to check out when you first log in. And it usually takes a while to get there. But, go have a cup of coffee or something. Anyway, so when you get to the page, the cool thing you're going to see are the reading assignments and assignment dates for discussions, writing. After all, this is a writing course, all the way through the session, all the way through till that second week of August. Well, first week of August, last week of July, like that. Class ends on Friday the 7th, although the last day of the summer session is the 8th. But since we're not a face-to-face class and that we meet only online, like what we're doing now, there won't be a Saturday meeting, of course. Let me go back to our home away from home. Our home page. You'll see that I've laid out what's on for the week, and this reflects what you'll see on the calendar page. Also, if you go to modules, I'll go back to assignments in a minute, but if you go to modules, here are the textbooks. Feel free to shell out some money if you want, and I will tell the bookstore that these are the textbooks. And the reason is some of you on certain types of financial aid or VA-related work may actually need to purchase a textbook, although you won't have to pay for it. The program will pay for it. But for the rest of you who want to pay out of pocket for a textbook, don't. It's right here. It's free. And if you look at the course description, critical thinking, writing, rhetoric, argument, if any of those sound familiar, this textbook makes a lot of sense. It's Anthony Weston's A Rule Book for Arguments. And oh, by the way, chapter 1 is assigned for this week. Don't freak out. Let me show you how short it is. You'll love this. All right, there is page 1. And that's right. The chapter is all of 7.5 pages long. Isn't that great? Okay, there's another textbook, really important, that you won't have to read for this week, but it takes a different approach with the context of argument and with a lot of the critical thinking about the material. And I'll talk a little bit more about this maybe next week when we start getting in deeper into that text. Also, here on the modules page, there are a few things that aren't uploaded yet because you won't need them this week. But there is a useful terms page. You might want to have a look at that, partly because these terms are useful, and you'll see some of them defined in Weston's book, and I also have some that I've distilled from Weston's book, so you don't have to go all over his book to find them. These are important. We'll use these quite a bit early on in the class. There are also a few others. Context is a biggie, because every argument, every bit of critical thinking has an audience, location, situation, and a shared understanding of common sense embedded in it. It's kind of required. And there's a premise which you'll see Weston discussed in this week's reading right off the bat, right in the top of the chapter. Elsewhere on the modules page, you're going to see some web links which will come up next week. Here's a format sample. There'll be more in this writer's toolbox. I'll populate it as we go along. And this screencast will be right here, as will Thursdays. Let me go back to the home page. I always leave you a short note, kind of foregrounding what we're up to in a particular week. Take the time to read it and take a hard look at what we're doing. Now, normally assignments and class activities wrap up on Friday, but we have a holiday coming up, so there will be some work due on Saturday. Not much, just 3 questions, but you'll need to do some reading. And oh, by the way, everything's open book in this class, so when you open the questions, have the chapter open as well, another page on your computer or whatever device you're using. And here is something I want to show you. Most of you know that AI stands for artificial intelligence. And I used an AI to create an infographic here of the class syllabus. It was kind of fun, pretty easy to do. It took all of about a minute. And there are a few things that illustrate some of the blind spots of AI, where I sometimes think artificial intelligence works a lot more like artificial dreaming. The major assignments, check those out on the syllabus, see if the names match. And there'll be a question about this that'll come to your mind, and here's the question. On the syllabus, do these descriptions match very well as anything about late work? And what does that tell you about the reliability of AI? It's a good question to ponder. And of course, here's the syllabus in the full text version. I've laid it out for you in kind of a Q&A format so you can navigate it really easily. That's the infographic. And there's the full text down there, right? I put them both on the page for you if you want to compare to answer my question. And be sure to read through this. Not a lot. It's navigable. I made it very readerly. There are the assignments, the late assignments policy. Anyway, give that a read if you want to answer that question. And we will talk again in the next screencast where I get into some important details of what we'll be working on throughout the summer session. Welcome to the class.